Hare Krishna. So today being the disappearance day of Narottam Das Thakur, start the class singing Jayanilo Premadam. Jayanilo Premadhana Karuna Pracho Jayanilo Premadhana Karuna Pracho Heno Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur Kaha Mora Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan Swarupa Kaha Dasa Raghunatha Patita Pavan Kaha Mora Bata Juga Kaha Kavira Eka Kale Kota Gela Gora Nataraj Ashane Kuti Matha Anale Pashibo Anale Pashibo Gauranga Gunera Nidhi Kota Gele Pabo Era Nidhi Kota Gele Pabo Se Sabha Sangira Sange Jai Koilo Bhilash Hira Sange Jai Koilo Bhilash Se Sabha Sangira Sange Jai Koilo Bhilash Hira Sange Jai Koilo Bhilash Se Sanga Napaya Kande Narotamadas Narotamadas Se sanga na paya kande Narotamadas. Narotamadas. Jayanilo premadana Karuna prachur Madana prachur Heno Prabhu Kotagela Narottam Das Thakur Kotagela Narottam Das Thakur. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Jayanilo Premadhana Karuna Prachur Yogadharma Shri Harinam Sankirtana Ki Jai. Just read the meaning of the song. He who brought the treasure of divine love and who was filled with compassion and mercy, where has such a personality as Srinivas Acharya gone? Where are my Swarup Dhamodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fallen? Where are my Raghunath Bhatt and Gopal Bhatt? Where is Krishnadas Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against the rock and enter into the fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being unable to attain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all of these devotees, in whose association he performed his pastimes, Narottam Das simply weeps. So this is the song written by Narottam Das Thakur when he heard the news of disappearance of Srila Srinivasacharya and also Ramchandra Kaviraj. So Ramchandra Kaviraj was constant associate of Narottam Das Thakur. So when both of these left this world, Narottam Das Thakur was feeling so much pain. He was feeling so much separation from both these devotees that he starts crying so much, and just in that separation, so in that separation from both these devotees, he writes this song. So it is mentioned, means I heard that when Narottam Das Thakur was feeling so much separation for days and days, he was crying in separation. And when anybody who saw him, they were also crying. So, so we cannot understand or imitate these acharyas, but we can at least try to understand that how much they were attached to Lord and His devotees. Yeah. So we'll start the Bhagavatam class. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Mandreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Rahugana converses with Jada Bharat, chapter 13, and text number 3. Prabhuta Virutranagul Magahvare Khatora Sher Mashakair Upadrita Kvachittu Gandharvapuram Prapashyati Kvachit Chashu Rayol Mukhagraham Prabhuta Virutranagul Magahvare Katoradam Shair Mashakair Upadrita Kvachittu Gandharvapuram Prapashyati Kvachit Chashu Rayol Mukhagraham. Anybody else? Any Matajis? Word-to-word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhu uta a very large number, virud of creepers, trina of varieties of grass, gulma of thickets, ghavare and bowers, khatora, cruel, damshai by bites, masakai by mosquitoes, padruta disturbed, kvachit sometimes, tu but, Gandharvapuram a false palace created by the Gandharvas, Prapashyati be sees, kvachit and sometimes, kvachit sometimes, cha and Ashuraya very quickly, Ulmuka like a meteor, Graham a fiend. Translation. In this forest there are dense bowers composed of thickets of bushes, grass and creepers. In these bowers, the conditioned soul is always disturbed by cruelly biting mosquitoes, envious people. Sometimes he sees an imaginary palace in the forest, and sometimes he is bewildered by seeing a fleeting fiend or ghost which appears like a meteor in the sky. Purport. The material household is actually a whole of fruitive activity. To earn a livelihood, one engages in different industries and trades, and sometimes one performs great sacrifices to go to the higher planetary systems. Apart from this, at least everyone is engaged in earning a livelihood in some profession or occupation. In these dealings, one has to meet many undesirable people, and their behavior is compared to the biting of mosquitoes. This creates very undesirable conditions. Even in the midst of these disturbances, one imagines that he is going to construct a grand house and live there permanently, although he knows that he cannot. Gold is compared to a quickly fleeting fiend which appears like a meteor in the sky. It displays itself for a moment and is then gone. Generally, karmis are attracted to gold or money, but these are compared herein to ghosts and witches. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Salake Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrasatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parishana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatare Shatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaurasve Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Ami Hare Priye Vanchakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhubheva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam, pangurnangayate girim. Yat kripaha tamaham vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam. Hare Krishna. So before I start speaking, seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadramai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai. Seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas so that I can speak on this verse for glorification of the Lord and purification of my heart. So here, Jada Bharat is very kindly explaining King Rahugana, who wanted to understand properly. He mentions in the previous chapters how he could not understand the words of Jada Bharat properly. So he wants further explanation. So out of his compassion, Jada Bharat is again explaining to King Rahugana. And in this particular chapter where Jada Bharat is explaining to Rahugana through an analogy, in the first verse it is mentioned that how a living entity who is working very hard day and night in this material world, so he is exactly like a merchant who enters a forest to acquire some articles to sell for profit later on. However, he cannot really achieve happiness. So in that forest, when the merchant goes, so many various kind of living entities give trouble. They are all mentioned here in the second verse, the third verses. So, and in some more verses also. So they are all compared to various living entities. When the living entity is trying to get happiness in this material world, how he is troubled by various people and also circumstances. So basically the whole situation is to make King Rahugana understand that how he should not become attached to Grahamanda Kupam. As Prahlad Maharaj mentions, that materialistic household life is like a Andakupam, deep dark well. So if one doesn't keep Krishna in the center and mold one's life in that way, if one keeps himself in the center and engages in sense gratification, how he suffers, that is being mentioned here in this particular verses. So Prabhupada is mentioning how the materialistic householder engages in the fruitive activities in this material world. So there is Grahastha and there is Grahamedi. So a Grahastha, he always keeps Krishna in the center of his life or his family, in his house, and he tries to mold every activity in his life which can give pleasure to Krishna in a way that Krishna is pleased. But a Grahamedi is not interested in serving Lord. He is only interested in pleasing his mind and senses. So his center is I and mine. So ato grahaksheta sutapta vityair janasya mohoyam aham mameti. This is the definition of false ego. I am this body and everything in relation with this body is mine. So a devotee of the Lord, he understands bhoktaram yagnatapasam sarva lokamaheshwaram suhrudam sarva bhutanam dhyatva shantirachati. That Krishna is a enjoyer of all the sacrifices. He is the supreme controller and he is Surat. He is the best friend of all living entities. So such a person is very peacefully situated. So devotees of the Lord, they understand this principle. They understand this. So they always try to keep Krishna in the center of their family. So what it means, keeping Krishna in the center, means taking ourselves out of the center and keeping Lord in the center. Means it's not that if you keep some photo in the center of house, then okay, Krishna is in the center. So nowadays so many people keep photos or like that. That is okay, that is better than not keeping. But not just keeping photos or even deities, but also molding our desires as per the desires of the Supreme Lord. Keeping Krishna first and ourselves later. False ego means keeping ourselves first and Lord or others later. Right? False ego means more worried about oneself. But Krishna conscious means being conscious of Krishna's pleasure. So that way, turning means one's life or molding one's life in such a way. So, so a devotee understands that when we say Krishna is the controller, so he is not just controller of this world or few states and few elements. He is also controller of my house. Because devotee understands that everything belongs to Krishna. So he understands this is Krishna's house. So because it is Krishna's house, then he is the master and I am the servant. That is the consciousness. But a materialistic householder, he thinks that I am the master and everybody in the house or if possible around also can serve me. That is a consciousness. So, and everybody should be controlled by me and follow me. So, this is the consciousness in this material world, the root cause of bondage. So, we see that living entity has very deep rooted addiction for this type of consciousness, that he wants to be controller and enjoyer. So, first of all, he will try to be controller of various planets like Hiranyakashipu, if possible. Right? He tried to control, means all the demigods in various planets, keep everyone under his control. So he was, except Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, he was keeping everybody else in control. And if not planets, okay, maybe at least one planet. And if not planets, at least few countries. Like Britishers, they tried to conquer many countries and keep under their control. Like Prabhupada said, the Britishers would say that the sun never sets in the British Empire. Because they have so many, previously, not now, they had so many countries that wherever their empire was there, the sun was there. So in that way they would say like that. But Prabhupada made a joke. When he went to UK, he said, the sun never rises only here. Where is the question of setting? Because it is always dark, wet. It is always, the sun hardly rises here. So Prabhupada is very expert in pulling the leg, smashing the false pride. So yeah, so people would try to control some countries, if not at least one country, right? And become the dictator or the controller for some time. But unfortunately, we see that even in countries, somebody becomes controller, like prime minister or whatever, but he is only in control for some time, right? Then, if not that, at least, okay, I will become controller for some state, if not some district, or some taluka, or otherwise at least some village, or at least my lane. No, they have this, what do you call that? Huh? Not for every lane also they have some, not society, they call colony president, or no, they call some word, I forgot. Anyway, ward member, yeah, ward member, I think. Ward member, that particular ward. So they think, okay, at least for this ward, I am the no, controller. So now finally, if not that, okay, at least for this house, I should be the controller. So the living entity has strong desire for all such things. But sometimes even in the house, nobody listens. So then finally he is so much frustrated. So he keeps one dog. So he thinks that at least this dog will be under my control. Because whenever I go, no, it starts no, keeping its tongue out, and when I call, it will come and obey my orders. So we can see that how the living entity's desire for control is so much, very strongly rooted. So, so then because when he thinks he is the controller, he is a proprietor, then naturally he wants to keep those people and things under his control, and he wants to enjoy. So that is the consciousness. But a devotee understands that Krishna is the proprietor and controller. And he is the proprietor controller even for me, my house and my family members. So ultimately he is the master and we are his servants. So that is the consciousness. So when somebody is master and somebody is servant, so whose orders we are supposed to follow? The master's orders, right? So then the whole house should be run in the way the master wants. Correct, no? That is the consciousness, right? State of consciousness. The house should be run the way the master wants, right? Not the servant wants. So then everybody in the house molds themselves in that way, right? But unfortunately, in modern society, we see that Krishna or God is removed from the house or in the center of the house, and it is replaced by television or mobiles. Television is become the center of all the family members, and mobile center of individual. Correct, no? So wherever you go, if you go outside, mobile, you come to home, television. So that's how Maya has replaced everyone's lives. Instead of actually hearing the pastimes of the Lord, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela of the Lord, instead of becoming attached to that, so the conditioned living entity is hearing not the pastimes, but is doing time pass. Opposite of pastimes. Is doing time pass with all the, not leelas, but deelas. All the conditioned souls activities is seeing and hearing and wasting his time unnecessarily. So, once His Grace Anand Vrindavan Prabhu was mentioning that how when somebody keeps Krishna in the center of their house, how one should act. So he was telling that everything should be means first offered to Krishna, or he is the owner of this house. So he was saying that even when they will go out, they take permission from the deities and go. Because like generally suppose somebody goes out, they inform parents, right? Some children, okay, mama, papa, I am going, right? They'll say like that and go. So because they are the owners kind of. So similarly, he was telling that when we go out, we take permission and go out. And when we come back, generally when we come back, we report, no? That like children will say, today in the school they taught me this, I did this, like that they will tell. So similarly, he was telling that they will report to the deities. Okay, today what all service we did, what all we did in your service. So why they would do like that? He said that if they are the master, we should not just what do you call, welcome the deities and worship and then forget them throughout the day. It's not that just for some time I worship, offer some bhoga and then forget them, right? They are the Supreme Lord. They are conscious. It's not that they are made of some metal or stone and finished over. If I once do some arti in the day, it is over. No, they are conscious, right? They are supremely conscious. They are conscious about everything. So the more we mold our life, our words, actions, behavior, trying to please them, act for them, the more actually we are keeping them in the center of our lives, right? Otherwise, then it's like we forget, right? Okay, आज का आरती हो गया, खत्म, अभी I'll do whatever I like, or now begins my day. I can do whatever I like. So no, whole day they are only thinking what gives pleasure to the Lord. So he was telling that, okay, generally we purchase new dresses, new jewelry, and we keep decorating ourselves so nicely. But what about Lord? How much are we conscious? Are we also offering Lord golden jewelry and new outfits? Or we are just purchasing for oneself and enjoying? And when there is summer or some seasonal changes, we immediately arrange everything for our pleasure. But when it comes to Lord's pleasure, are we thinking about it? So he was telling that how in their house they arrange some water fountains around the deities so that the Lord feels very cool from the water droplets. And he was saying that once when sometimes he said when we go for some function, so we may forget about the deities, or we may just offer some dry fruits and we may just go away. And we may be eating very nice feast in the functions. So he was telling, but he was telling what they try to do. He was telling that they will come and then again cook for the Lord and then offer, and then they will honor. Because suppose Lord is Lord is always master. If we act in the mood that Lord is a master, the servant will always first serve master, then only servant will take. Not that servant is enjoying nice feast and master is eating some little dry fruits, whatever, little bit kismis and some sometimes little sugar and so then are we really acting in the mood of that Lord is a master and I am the servant? So then that means we are just keeping the deity's namesake and we are not actually acting in that mood, he was telling. But actually installing or welcoming deities means we are actually wanting to, or we are actually telling Lord that we want to serve you as the Supreme Lord of our house, Supreme Master of our house, and we are all his servants. So then actually if we start acting in that consciousness, then only we get real benefit. Otherwise sometimes if we just welcome deities, okay, in our house also we have deities, so it becomes like a social pressure kind of, oh, we also have deities, something like that. But it's not only about having deities, but it's also about acting in that consciousness, whether we are actually acting in that consciousness. So then, when we mold our lives in that way, then we become more and more Krishna conscious. So, and also all the family members should come together and try to serve Krishna. So His Holiness Radhan Maharaj, he said few very famous statements. A family that prays together stays together. If means praying to the Supreme Lord. And a family that dines together shines together. And a family that dances together advances together in the service of the Lord. Not dancing for some what I call metal songs. No. So when we keep Krishna in the center and serve like that, then not only Lord is pleased, that the relationships amongst the family members also are very nice. So, but when a materialistic person doesn't understand Lord's position and his position, then he keeps himself in the center, as it is mentioned here, and he completely engages in sense gratification in the various fruitive activities of this world. And he is only greedy, lusty, and running after the illusory temporary pleasures of this world, which appear and go away. Although he may think that I have so much bank balance or such big house, sometimes a person may work so hard whole life, right? And he may build a big house, and after that he will die. Right? Right? So hardly he even lives in that house. Or sometimes he has so much loan that whole day he is only, he has to work 12 hours, 15 hours. So only the servants stay or in the house, and the owners actually whole day work and only night they are sleeping. No, sometimes situation is like that. So then what is the use, right? So that's why Prabhupada mentions that one should accept that much facilities or sense gratification just to keep the body and soul together, or basic facilities, not luxuries. Because when somebody goes for luxuries, then one will actually go to atyahara prayasascha. So then it becomes difficult to get time for Krishna consciousness. So, so basically this is what is mentioned in these verses. So today is the disappearance day of Srila Narottam Das Thakur. So in Nectar of Instruction, it is mentioned that Utsaha Nisya Dhairyat, the last word is Satovritti. So it means following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. Actually, vritti means impressions. So there is vritti, vasana and samskara. So when somebody engages, suppose in some sense gratification, so the impressions are formed in the mind. But currently we have all negative samskaras or negative vrittis, impressions. Now they have to be replaced with positive samskaras or vrittis. So now in our scriptures we have philosophy, but philosophy is more or less like theory. But when we see that somebody has applied that philosophy in life, when he's emulated the philosophy, when he's following that philosophy, that it really inspires. And we also feel that, okay, we can also apply that philosophy in our lives. So the acharyas are actually applying that philosophy in their lives. And their examples are actually so amazing that we really, by hearing about them, we get inspired. And we may not be able to come to that standard, but at least try to follow in their footsteps. We take inspiration from these acharyas. So once when Lord Chaitanya was with his associates in Ramkeli, so he was dancing with all his associates, and suddenly he calls Narottam, Narottam, like that very loudly. And so everybody thinks that Narottam is also one of the names of the Lord, the best of all the living entities, the Supreme Lord. So they start thinking that, okay, maybe Lord is calling the names of uh, Lord Vishnu or something like that. So some of the associates, they ask that, are you calling the names of Lord? Lord Chaitanya says that actually I am calling, I am remembering a very great associate of mine who is going to appear very soon in this world after my disappearance, and he will spread love of Godhead in this world. So then Lord Chaitanya personally goes and dips himself in river Padma, and he invests his love for Narottam Das Thakur in that river Padma in Keturi. So when Lord Chaitanya actually dips himself, river Padma starts overflooding the entire no, the town Keturi Gram is completely flooded, and people are surprised that how come the floods are coming now? There is no rain, but because Lord entered that river, that's why that happened. And river Padma appears before Lord and says that, "Oh Lord, you invested your love for Narottam here. So how will I know that who is that personality Narottam?" So Lord Chaitanya says, just like you started flooding now, when he enters your river, that time also you will start flooding. So like that. So Narottam Das Thakur, he actually appears in this world in Keturi to Krishnananda Dutt, who was a king, but they were from the Kayastha community, who were considered low caste. So when he was 6 months old, Narottam Das Thakur, they had this Annaprashana ceremony where the child is fed in the first grains. So they were trying to feed him some grains, but Narottam was not at all accepting. So they were surprised why he is not taking. Then they called some astrologer and priest. Then he said that he is a great devotee of Lord, so he will not accept any food which is not offered to Krishna. So you offer food to Lord and then give that prasad. So they offer to the Lord and give that Mahaprasad. Then the child very happily accepts that. So right from childhood, Narottam exhibited how he is a great devotee of Lord. And he would every day from his childhood hear about Lord Chaitanya and his associates from one devotee called Krishna Das. So this Krishna Das was an associate of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. So he knew about all Lord and his associates. So every day he would narrate various pastimes of Lord and his devotees. So Narottam Das Thakur, when he heard about Lord Chaitanya and his associates, he was so much attracted towards the Lord, actually. And some of the associates of the Lord by that time, actually they left this world. So Narottam Das Thakur would feel that I am so sinful that I took birth at a time when all these associates of the Lord are no more in this world. And he would feel so much separation from all these associates. And his separation is mentioned that is so deep that he would sometimes become unconscious, feeling separation from these devotees. And some of these associates would appear and bless him. So actually, from his childhood, he wanted to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So once when after some time, Lord Chaitanya tells to Nityananda Prabhu to tell him about that where he invested his love for him. So Lord Nityananda appears in the dream of Narottam Das Thakur, and he tells him that you go and take bath in the river Padma, and there Lord has kept this love of Godhead for you. So he goes and takes bath in the river Padma the next day. So Lord Chaitanya appears and actually embraces him. So that time actually Narottam Das Thakur's whole complexion becomes golden when Lord Chaitanya embraces, and he invests in his heart uh, Krishna Prem. And normally also Narottam Das Thakur was so much filled with love for Krishna. But after this incident, he becomes totally mad in Krishna Prem. So then seeing that his parents become very afraid. So they always keep him in some custody to avoid that he leaves home. So but once when he was going out, he escapes and goes to Vrindavan to meet Lord Chaitanya. When he comes to know Lord is in Vrindavan. So that time, by the time he reaches Vrindavan outskirts, he comes to know that Lord actually left this world, and then he wants to meet Rupa and Sanatan. But someone also mentions that they also left this world. So actually he feels so bad that I wanted to meet these devotees all the while, but I am so unfortunate that I am not able to meet. But Rupa and Sanatan, they appear before him and they say, don't worry, we are always with you. So from these incidents, we can see that how these acharyas, they are eternal associates of the Lord. And when a devotee is really attached to them and prays to them and feels separation from them, definitely they can appear and bless that particular devotee. So we also hear about Prabhupada, how he said, he got darshan of Rupa Goswami, and Rupa Goswami blessed him before going to the West. So Narottam Das Thakur, eventually he surrenders to Lokanath Goswami, although he was not willing to give him initiation, but he does menial service for several days. Actually, when Lokanath Goswami would go for nature call, the forest, he would clean that place personally. So this Lokanath Goswami used to be surprised that how come every day this place is clean. So then one day he secretly hides in the bushes and he watches who is doing this. So he finds that this Narottam Das Thakur is doing. So immediately he goes and stops him. He says that, Narottam, you are actually the prince. You are you are so rich and you personally got the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So how can you do such a service to a fallen soul like me? So please stop doing all this. So when Narottam was told to stop that service, so Narottam Das Thakur says that if my being a prince or from a king's family stops me from doing all these menial services, hell with this, he says. Better I was born in some low caste family. Like that he says. And later when Lokanath Goswami initiates him, he keeps him under the shelter of Jiva Goswami for training him. So that time, three devotees, Srinivasa Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur and Shamanand Pandit, all three of them, they get trained under Jiva Goswami. And all these three devotees their gurus are different. So, but they all cooperatively stay together, serve together, study together, get trained from Jiva Goswami. So we can learn that how the acharyas themselves are teaching by example how one should cooperate with each other although they may be having different spiritual masters. And Jiva Goswami, after training them, he actually gives them different names. Like Narottam was given the name Thakur, Narottam Thakur. And Srinivas was given Srinivas Acharya, like that. And Shamananda was named as Shamanand Pandit, like that. So he orders them that you should take these books of the Goswamis. The Goswamis, Nana Shastra Vichara Naika Nipano. After studying so many scriptures, they gave the essence. So you go and distribute this, rewrite again, write these books and start distributing them. So these three acharyas are the first book distributors in one sense. They were told to distribute those books. So in one ox cart, all these books of acharyas were kept, and they were told to take it to Orissa and Bengal and again write multiple copies of it and distribute. But unfortunately, one night when they all slept, they were all stolen by some dacoits. So after they get up, they feel so bad that we lost all these books. These are the treasure house of all the Gaudiya Sampradaya. So then Srinivasacharya tells that I will take the responsibility of finding it. And eventually he finds it at King Birambir, and he transforms him and makes him a devotee. So Narottam Das Thakur comes to Keturi and he starts preaching there. So because he was from a Kayastha community, the local caste Brahmanas would always criticize him. But still he was fearlessly preaching and transforming so many people into Krishna consciousness. So there were two brothers, Hare Ram and Ramakrishna. So their father gave them lot of goats to herd, and told them, you take care of these goats. And during Vijayadashmi and all, they would give bali, sacrifice them. So Narottam, when he sees these two brothers, tells to Ramchandra Kaviraj that these two brothers have lot of potential, so we should preach. So they both go and preach to them and make them into devotees. Then this Hare Ram and Ramakrishna, they leave all the goats freely, means they send them off. So when their father comes to know, he becomes very, very angry. And then these two brothers get initiated. One of them by Narottam and another by Ramchandra Kaviraj. Actually, Ramchandra Kaviraj is disciple of Srinivas Acharya, but he sends him to Narottam to serve along with him. But he becomes a very intimate associate of Narottam. That's why he writes in that song, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya Karo Mari, Ramachandra Sangamage Narottam Das. He writes there, right? So, so his father becomes so angry that how can you do this? So then they defeat him by quoting from scriptures how this animal sacrifice is not recommended, and how worship of Krishna is superior. Then he calls various Brahmanas, Pandits to defeat them. But this Hare Ram and Ramakrishna, they defeat all of them also. Then finally he calls one Murari, who was very famous Brahmana and scholar, who was never defeated. But these two brothers, they defeat that Murari also. So when all this happens, then one very famous scholar and Brahmana, Ganga Narayan Chakravarti, who later becomes disciple of Narottam, he comes to know that how Narottam Das Thakur transformed these two brothers and how they defeated so many scholars. So then eventually this Ganga Narayan Chakravarti also takes initiation from Narottam. So it's a big, means there are so many pastimes of Narottam. But eventually when actually once this Narottam Das Thakur once actually leaves his body, and Ganga Narayan Chakravarti and his disciples, they keep his body on the wooden sticks and all to burn. So that time this caste Brahmanas come and start criticizing. See, because of his sinful activities of initiating this Brahmanas who are of superior caste, that's why he died. So they start criticizing Narottam Das Thakur. So hearing that, actually Narottam Das Thakur again comes back. And again he stays for some more time. Then those caste Brahmanas also understand the greatness of Narottam Das Thakur. So once Lord Chaitanya appears in his dream and tells that there is my deity in particular place in one godown. So you should go and take out my deity and start worshipping. So when Narottam Das Thakur finds out where is that place, then he comes to know that that whole godown is infected with snakes from many, many years. And anybody who would go to that godown will die because of snake bites. So everyone warns Narottam that you please don't go because you may die out of snake bites. But Narottam just starts walking fearlessly with faith in Lord Chaitanya. So when he actually enters that godown, thousands and thousands of snakes start coming out from the godown. But still he just enters the godown and straight goes to the place where there is a deity of Lord Chaitanya, and he brings back the deities. And actually those deities and also some more deities, they are all later again installed by Jahanami Mata and all these acharyas, and they perform the first Gaur Purnima festival after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leaves this world. So it is said that they perform the first Gaur Purnima festival in Keturi, where he invites all the associates of Lord Chaitanya who were left in Bengal and around, and also personally he sends devotees with a letter to invite them. So they go and personally invite, and when the Gaur Purnima festival is happening, Lord Chaitanya, this Narottam Das Thakur, actually that time this Jahani Mata, who is the wife of Nityananda Prabhu, she glances on Narottam and empowers him. And Narottam Das Thakur, that time he starts singing. So he sings with so much devotion and so much feelings of separation for Lord Chaitanya and his associates. So when he starts singing, all associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Srivas, all those associates who actually left this world by that time, all those associates, acharyas, they all come and in front of everybody in Keturi, they start dancing, and they start dancing with the devotees who are present there. Not only devotees, but all the non-devotees are also, they are also able to see Lord and all his associates. So for some time they dance and then later they leave. So we can see that how when some devotee sings with so much love and devotion, as it's mentioned, Etra Gayanti Madbhakta Tatra Tishtami Narada. Lord actually manifests there when somebody sings with so much love and devotion. So in that way they celebrate the first Gaur Purnima festival, and eventually it is said that once when they were bathing his body, slowly his body melts into milk and like that, and he leaves this world. So Narottam Das Thakur, we can see that how he was so much attached to Lord Chaitanya and his associates, and how he rendered such amazing service in the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So on this most auspicious day of his disappearance, we can pray to him that may we drop off such devotion. He also wrote the songs, very famous songs, in his book called Prardhana. And this book was always carried by, it's mentioned like Gaur Kishore Das Babaji would always carry this book and always sing the songs of Narottam Das Thakur. So Prabhupada said these songs are the essence of all the Vedic literature. In those songs, the acharyas like Narottam Das Thakur gave the essence. So we can pray to these acharyas that may we also uh, get drop of such devotion and love towards the Supreme Lord and His devotees. So He is a personification of how we should actually hear and develop attachment and serve in separation from the Lord and His devotees. So we'll end here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Narottam Das Thakur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande.